the autistic children, and also for professionals who are working with children with autism. Yes.
Okay. Before we even get into the institution and how it works and why it started, could you tell us a little bit about your journey?
Okay. Being a mother of a child with autism, it is quite a journey. 16 years is not that.
Absolutely.
But it is a great journey of getting to learn more about autism. And basically that is why I think I'm in DTSK, because having a child with autism has made me learn more about autism. My son got diagnosed at 2.5 with autism, and he had to go through a lot of speech therapy, occupational therapy. At some point he also needed physiotherapy, and he had also to, at first he had to join a regular school. Some of schools could not accept him because he was very hyperactive, which made him also be diagnosed with ADHD. And after even going to window shop for a school, the way you go window shopping after being rejected in so many schools, eventually I got a good school. And when I say a good school, it means you have a good teacher. It is not about the school environment as much, but one teacher who can understand your child, and that is what I got. Yes.
Before even getting to the school, I've spoken to parents who've said, the diagnosis process was difficult. They had to go from one hospital to another. There are others who've said, acceptance was hard for them. So how was it for you? And how did you realize that your son maybe wasn't the same as the other kids?
Okay, at the age of 1 year, I could tell this child is different. He was very hyperactive. He could learn from one place to the other place. He wasn't even walking. He was learning tiptoeing. And he wasn't having any speech. He was having screaming. That is what he started. Other than babbling and doing those small trying to come up with words, for him it was screaming. And I could go to hospital for a normal checkup and clinics, and I would ask the doctors, this child doesn't seem like having any progress like any other child. And they would tell me, wait, this is just a boy. And boys take longer. Let the child grow. Probably at the age of 3, he will have developed speech and all that. So it continued.
This is your first child?
Yeah, he's my firstborn. So we continued like that until I could go. I think every time he could go to probably a fever or go for a checkup, I would still ask the same question. And most of the doctors would tell me still to wait. Until he was 2.5, that is when I went. Actually, he was sick with malaria. Then I went to this doctor in Nakuru. By then we were living in Nakuru, and after the child was treated, that is when I asked the same question. The child has not yet spoken. The child is still seems a bit different from other children, and the doctor told me, okay, let's do this. She scheduled for me a clinic at Nakuru level 4. And that is where he got diagnosed. Unfortunately, I didn't get the diagnosis immediately. The psychiatrist who I was seeing did not give me the diagnosis, but was writing on his file, and he was given some prescription. I thought it was like the way you treat malaria, you're given prescription and you go back home and the child will be okay. No, the only thing that I could ask, how long would this be? And the doctor would tell me the child might progress, and the child, let us give him time, but he's not giving the word autism at all. So I remember when I gave the child the medication, it was Ritalin and Lesparidone, the child reacted to the medicine. So I took him back, and one of the medication was withdrawn. He was left with one. Then the doctor, he had some rashes on his head that were too big. You could tell this, he couldn't continue with the medication. Then we continued, I could go to visit this psychiatrist every month. So I remember after 3 visits, the following visit that I went, he was called outside by somebody when we were in his room. And I checked on the file to see what exactly he has been writing. And that is where I got the word autism. So he came back, we concluded. I didn't have the courage to ask him so many questions. And the next thing I did was to go and Google about autism. And I understood that autism, it's all about management. And it comes also with occupational therapy and speech therapy. And I felt like I'm not getting what I need from this doctor. So the following visit, I went to him still, and I requested him to give me a referral to Kenyatta. And that is what exactly he did. And by then the child was turning 3. I went to Kenyatta. And that is where I met a doctor. They explained so well about autism, its management. They basically withdrew him from any kind of medication, and they told me the only way we can manage it will be through intervening the behaviors, that challenges that he has, do occupational therapy because he couldn't even hold the cup well or even be able to write or anything, and also do speech therapy to enhance speech development. And that is how now we started the journey of therapies. We could go to every Friday at Kenyatta, and by the age of 5.5, he could now speak a few words, and from there at least we went on improving on his speech. One of the things that I learned as a parent and as a caregiver, I being the person who is taking care of this child, I had either to go to denial or think about managing the behavior of the child. And one of my brothers told me, it is you to make a choice. The child needs you most, and you have to start strong for that child because that child needs you more. And that is the point I knew. It is not all about me, it is about helping the child. And I understood that early intervention can bring a lot of difference with the life of this child. And that is how I was able to accept him the way he is and run with him with any kind of therapies. Where I could hear there is any kind of training that included caregivers, I would go because I really needed to gain more knowledge on autism. It is like I was abandoning myself to live the life of this child and see him getting to achieve like any other child. But one of the things that I come to know and understand as a mother, love the child the way he is, accept him, support him in every area. Unlike any other developmental disorder or any other disability, one of the things that I came to understand about autism, and I'm understanding day in, day out, is that everything for a child with autism you have to train. Unlike you and I, we are able to see a child growing up, and at the age of 1 year, others are calling you mom, others are calling you baba. For these children, you have to train even the word, and not only them saying the word mama, you have to train them to let them know it is you who is called mama. So, and I remember at one particular time I had to bring a number of children together and ask them when the dad was coming home to call their son, to call the dad baba, so that the child can understand the father is the one who is called dad. And these children were so cooperative because we were used to play together with them to help the child to have social skills, which is a deficit. Yeah, to help him acquire social skills, which is quite a deficit with children with autism. And the minute he was coming through the gate, all the children shouted Baba, and he was among them who said Baba, and that is how he got to understand this is my dad, and we can call him Baba. And over the time, he could relate him with the word Baba. And eventually, I remember the second time he now, without being promoted so much, it was his 5th birthday, and I bought a big cake for him. And the minute he saw the cake, that is when he said, "Thank you, Mom." And I wondered, okay, you do know that I'm called Mom. It is only that you couldn't say it. But the fact that he got the cake, it prompted him to say the word thank you. And it was amazing. So it is, even the word, like I remember even when he had to say bye, he started like saying bye. The minute you're saying bye to me, you always face your hand like this. So for him, they see literally what you say and what you do, and that's what they copy. So for him, he could see the palm of my hand when I'm saying bye. So it was, for him to say bye, he could say it like this. So I had to come and train him, turn your hand and say bye, this is how we do it. So that is literally how they think, and it is you to come there and train them to understand how to socialize, how to speak with others, and how to relate with others.
So Alice, tell me about his journey with therapy and school, and what are some of the progress he's been able to make. You said he's 16 now.
Yes. Eventually at the age of 3, that is when he started schooling. And he went practically in a regular school because that is what you were advised, despite the challenge of being accepted. And later on, at the age of 5.5, he couldn't practically fit in a regular class. He was too hyper, despite every kind of intervention, including having some kind of diet to withdraw anything that could make him become more hyperactive. But we had to make a choice to put him in a special school where we thought he would be given more attention. And it worked for a little while because he was able to fit in and to get a bit of, he was able at least to get therapies in the same school and be able to get time to run and to learn at his own level, not like in a mainstream where he was not so much pushed. So at this particular point in a special school, he was moved.
Okay. Let's take a short break. When we come back, Alice will be telling us a little bit about the institution and how it works and why she joined the institution.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Karibu sana. Are you ready?
I'm here for the
Wakati mwingine kama weekend, mimi najiachilia.
hata ukumbuki hii story.
Nikifika watu wangu wote wakinipokea na kupokeleka.
Umeset the mood.
Nimeset the mood. Naweza kupokeleka. Nikitumai kwamba mzima popote pale ulipo, nikikukaribisha katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi. Jina langu Elizabeth Mutuku. Katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi tunakupa nafasi kutangamana nao kila siku ya Alhamisi kuanzia saa 1:30 kuendelea siku nyingine. Tutapatana papa hapa umjue kiongozi mwingine.
Jiunge nasi toka hapa hadi ufuoni mwa bahari. Meli yetu itakapotua nanga.
Welcome back. So Alice, you've told us about your background. Now tell us a little bit about the institution. How did you find yourself here?
Okay. As I said earlier, DTSK started as a psychosocial support group of parents with children with autism. And I, being a parent with children with autism, I had this passion of helping other parents. Knowing the journey that I have come through with my child, I had that passion of supporting other parents to understand what to do and where to go to. And that is how I found myself in DTSK, because initially, as I said, we had started in our WhatsApp group. Many parents could come in who are newly diagnosed, they don't know what to do with their children, and that is where we could come in answering the questions in regard to the experience that we had earlier, doing the referrals to where the parents
So you had
would go.
created a WhatsApp group and you would invite parents to join?
One of our members created the WhatsApp group, then invited so many other parents, and we as parents, we could invite another parent who we know. So it became like, yes. So it became like a whole chain of me, I have a child with autism, another parent, and we became like, we started with one WhatsApp group, which was by then 258 members. Then it added to another WhatsApp group, that is 2 groups, and currently we are like 4 groups. And about 800 members. So in 2018, in 2016, we got registered as a society since the members are many. And now instead of us being just on our WhatsApp group, we thought, why don't we come as an organization and see how far we can go with this organization? Apart from psychosocial support group, what else can we do? So we started raising awareness through sports. We could hold like sports. We could hold workshops on where these parents could come in and be trained in different topics. We could do, we have already done like nutrition, how to feed these children, because some others have gastrointestinal challenges that they cannot digest some things, so like gluten and casein. So we could bring in professionals, nutritionists to talk to these parents. We could bring in those who have done speech therapy to come in and speak about speech, behavior therapy, ABA, to come and talk about these different topics in different workshops. And so far we have carried so many workshops. And in 2018, that is where the need of having an office came in, because if a member needed some support, we didn't know where to meet, so we decided to come in and have an office. Remember, all this time we have no donors, we are only contributing, we as parents, to see to it. We are able to have including our sports day, where we bring in siblings, children with autism, their families, and we have a good...
How much was the contribution?
What you can, because we are totally different. So what you can be able to afford is what you could give, and we could now hold these events. So in 2018, I came in here, and most of us were, because it's also registered as a society, that means it is run by members of committee who are doing it practically on a voluntary basis. And I also came in as an office admin. At first it was voluntary basis. Then later on, when you managed to get donors, that is when it started being paid. Yes.
Okay. Why the special focus on caregivers?
Okay, at that point, at particular, we thought of these caregivers who go into denial. First, when you're diagnosed with a child with autism.
Because I think caregivers are mostly ignored.
You are ignored, and you don't know who to turn to. You just have been given a diagnosis. Who do you turn to? You have no idea how to bring this child. Remember, when you are pregnant, you have those dreams of a child. And then the minute, like, you have a child and the child has not achieved the milestone, and you get the word autism, it is like you're shattered and you don't know where to start. So at first, that is what the idea was. Let's bring these parents together, we give them support, and they get to grow and bring up their children in a well mental health way, because having somebody who has gone through the same experience and they are told they have made it, you are able to relate with that parent. But eventually we came to understand it's beyond that. It's beyond awareness raising, it's beyond advocacy, but it has to include empowerment. Remember, when I have a child with autism, I might not be able to have a day off to take that, to get a job and get a day off every week to get that child to therapy. Very rarely you get an employer who will give you that advantage. So you get the caregiver may not even have a job. So we thought even empowering these parents to start even their own businesses would be of great help. But during COVID, that is when everything had to turn around, because many of these caregivers, they didn't have a job and the economy was not doing well, and where they depended on, they couldn't get food. So you could hear the pain, and in our WhatsApp group and calls that we could receive of people who are hungry. And again, amongst ourselves, we came in and decided, let's contribute what you have, and we support another parent out there who really needs that support. And that is how we started now supporting with food. Like, we were able to support 59 families with food worth of 3,000 during COVID. And that time we thought, what else can we do? And the committee members came together and decided, let's do proposals and see where we can come in and help the caregiver to be empowered, so that they can be able not only to support themselves, but also to support their children who have autism. Remember, there are others who have adults, and these adults, some of them have left school without any certification. Others may have certification. Let's say they have done class A, they have not acquired so good marks on KCSE, and they just have the certificate and they have not been integrated in any college, so they are back home with their parents. So we thought, if we can have a proposal of where we can be able to get donors, come and empower these caregivers with an entrepreneurship skill, and they start a small business, this small business can be able to not only support them, but they can train their own children with autism who are much more independent, to be able to be tagged along in the same business, and they be able to earn a living out of it. That was the purpose of now empowering this family, not to become dependent, but to become much more independent, and also to give them that decency of feeling I can be able to raise my family without having to call people to provide for food, like looking for sympathy from other people. Yes.
Apart from entrepreneurial skills, how else do you empower parents with children with autism, or rather caregivers in general?
Okay, caregiver, as I said earlier, one of the things that you do for them is doing different kind of workshops. You know, you as the caregiver, you're the one who is spending so much time with your
What
child
does the
at home.
workshop entail?
The workshop entails like we bring in professionals. Let's say somebody has done speech therapy. That person will come and give us guidelines on the small skills that I as a parent can do at home with the child that I am having, so that this child continues with the therapies even at home. Behavior management, especially there is another we did on behavior management, especially in adolescents. Remember, this child is growing like any other child, and they have different feeling like any other child. How do you manage a teenage? And we could bring in a professional. That time it was done by Dr. Nala, who was doing behavior management on teenage and adolescents, kids with autism, and the parents are guided how to be able to overcome the challenges that come with teenagers. And now in that way they are able to apply it back at home. Then we have done like nutrition, the food and the diet this child is able to eat at home to ensure that the child gets all the nutrients, balanced diet, and they are able to control the child behavior also through the diet. We are also able to do ABA through Kaizora, and the parents could be guided about how to understand the challenging behavior. Remember, children with autism, they're those that cannot be able to speak. And if a child is not able to speak, if I can give an example of a young child, they will cry. So it happens the same with a child with autism who is not able to speak verbally and does not have a way of communicating their needs. What will happen? That child might bite themselves because they need something. They might throw tantrum because they need something. You see, this is a behavior you wouldn't want a child to portray when you go out with in a marketplace. So we bring in a behavior therapist or a BCBA to teach the parents of the simple skills that you as a parent can be able to apply at home with your child to manage these behaviors.
Okay. I know you've talked about word of mouth, but how are parents who are in need of your services, how are they able to reach the organization? And then about your membership, is it only Nairobi or it has scattered across the country?
Okay. Allow me to go back a little. After 2020, when we were able to now to raise the funds and be able to support the parents, we managed to get another funding from a Boeing funding through Port Charitable Fund. And that helps us now to reach out not only the parents who are in Nairobi, but also in different counties. We have parents in all over the country, different counties, but I have a great membership in Nairobi, Kiambu, Machakos, and also Nyeri and Nakuru. And we have been able to achieve training these parents. Starting from Nairobi County, we did a cohort of around 52 parents who were brought together and given entrepreneurship skills, and they were also given funding to start a small business. We also went to Nyeri, and we also went to Nakuru, where we have a whole different groups, not less than 50 members. So we are able, differently talented Society of Kenya is reaching out, not only our members in Nairobi or near Nairobi, but also in Nakuru, in Nyeri, in Migori, in Kisumu.
What are some of those avenues that people are able to reach out to for the benefit of our viewers?
Yes.
If someone is watching and
Yeah.
they're in need,
Okay. Still, we still have the WhatsApp group, and we have a differently talented Society of Kenya website. Our website is www.dtsk.org. So when you go to that website, you're able to log in and become our member. Still, we have our DTSK number. I'll give it before the end of the show. And also, we still have in these different counties, we still have other parents who also give a word of mouth through through referrals. Yes.
And is there some form of membership fee?
Okay, we do renew our membership once in a year with only 500 shillings. But for somebody who is not able to renew, we just welcome them to become part of us and be able to learn from us. The only time now they cannot be involved is during AGM, because you know AGM has to be for registered members, but it is quite an open membership. Yes.
From where you sit, why is it important that there's that special focus on caregivers?
Caregivers, being a mother or being a father of a child with disability, any kind of disability, and most of all autism, it means I need to be strong. I need to be able to earn a living for the family, and it means that I have to be have good health to be able to take care of these children. Remember, they are all different levels. There are those that are totally severe. That means they are totally independent to their caregiver. So if the well-being of the caregiver is not well taken care of, it means the child is in trouble, or will not have somebody who will take care of the child, and that means the child may not achieve their potential. Because if the parent is able to take care of this child, take them to therapists, take them to school, educate them, and have that early intervention, it means that child will become self-independent and can live a life and achieve the purpose for which this child is able to achieve, depending with their capabilities. So it means it will have to start with me as the caregiver, being well, both physically, emotionally, and also my well-being be taken care of. Because if I go to depression, it means that child is totally abandoned and may not achieve a lot and will become a burden to the society. So it is quite important to see to it the caregivers are well and they're able to manage everything. In another program that we had to come up with, because again we want this caregiver with a severely challenged autistic adult to be able to move on with the life, and to see to it this child doesn't mean to be totally dependent on me, but can support himself. We had to come up with a program that is supporting autistic adults, and that was funded by Australian government, which a child who is not independent but has autism is paired with a caregiver, and the child interest is what we look at. They're done assessment, and if the child is capable of doing, let's say, food and beverage, or even prepping, or even painting, they're paired. If they cannot be able to go to college on their own, they're paired with the parent, or the caregiver of the choice of the parent. And the child goes and does the course of his interest at NITA. We have partnered with NITA to see to it that NITA can deliver and give this education to autistic adults.
Is it vocational skills?
Yeah, it is vocational skills. There are those that are independent. They're able, they're autistic, but they can go on their own. There are those that are totally paired. We have like 32 of them who are distributed among those that are doing food and beverage, those that are doing prepping, and those that are doing painting, IT, and there was two who are doing textile. So they go together, they do the course together, and the pairing, it is this parent is the support system of this person who is autistic. But the interest is not what the parents want to do, but what the child wants to do. And out of that, they have done amazing. We couldn't even think a child who has not come out of school with any kind of certification could be able to do great in college. They have not only acquired the skill, because many of them are now almost finishing their attachment currently after one year of training. They are in different organizations. There are those that are in, one of them is in Metropolitan Hospital. There are others who are in different organizations. There are others who are also doing IT. And to see them looking forward every day to wake up to go to, they call me every day, and some of them every day, some at particular times, saying their experience in a job place. It's amazing.
So Alice, finally, where can parents reach you if they would want to join the society?
Okay, we have an office line, and the number is 0